Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 97 of CrossButton VR, our journey into the world of VR. I am your host, Laurie, and it is an absolute honour to be joined by two of the most hardcore influencers in the metaverse. It's Alex and it's Reece. Hello.
I like that one.
Hello.
You like that one, do you?
Yeah, hardcore.
You are. You're probably the most hardcore gamer I know, actually.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were talking about music. Yeah, gamer.
Well,
yeah.
Well, hardcore everything, really. Hardcore the lot. Clean sweep. Clean
That's
sweep.
it. We are the hardcore.
Yeah, hardcore VR gamers and me and Alex.
Stop it. All right. But yes,
no,
hello,
you know
everyone.
us. Hello. Everyone's back to work now, I take it. Back to normal. Kids back at school. All that kind of jazz.
Yes,
Yep.
very tired. Oh, very tired.
No, it's the end of the first week. It's kind of, oh gosh, back to normal now.
Oh, yeah, it's the first full week, isn't it? Oh, wow.
It is.
Is
the
that
first
why
full
it's
week.
been... Yeah, that's why it's felt a bit like, makes
The
sense
first-
now.
Full week of 2025. So what better time to have look ahead to the games that are coming this year to VR? That we know about anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's anything like last year, then we'll only know about 3% of them. So,
Well,
Yeah.
this is true. I still think we do these things because we have to go on what there is. But yeah, a lot of the stuff just gets, especially in the world of VR, they like reveal stuff, and it's out tomorrow. You're like, what? Where the fuck's that come from?
Let's just shadow drop it, because
Wait
that's a great
till-
idea.
It, guys, like yeah. And then you have other things that like Wanderer that never come out. So a
Although, you know,
bit of foreshadowing there.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like poor old Assassin's Creed this week. That's not coming out ever either, is it?
it will hit in March. It will come in March.
I wouldn't be so confident.
I'm finding that one so
Keep
funny.
delayed, and then it'll come out the same week of Ghost of Yotai, and Ubisoft will be like, fuck.
What have we done? This was a terrible idea.
Yeah, we should have released it for
Either that or it comes out alongside GTA 6.
Oh,
Well,
I
yeah,
don't-
that's true. So.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'm a bit daunted like this year. I'm going to play Assassin's Creed Japan. I'm going to play Ghost of Yotai. I'm going to play GTA 6. I'm going to they're going to be like three massive
You're
games.
not, because GTA 6 is next year. So.
Well, I hope that's the case because I don't think I'm going to have time to play those sort of three games that are so big amongst all the other many VR games and stuff to play.
I hope
You mean-
GTA 6
what do you
is
mean?
just, I hope GTA 6 is this year, because it's probably the only game where I'll press pause on a lot of stuff to jump in and play.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I only
yeah.
played GTA 5. Yeah, what's one before 6? 5.
5, yeah,
It's been a long week.
clearly.
When it came out on PS3, I want to say.
That's the
When it
one.
came out on PS3 game, like, what the fuck? How? Just,
I know.
well,
And they milked that, didn't they?
how did that game come out on PS3 and we still haven't got a follow-up? We're like a generation and a half later.
We did get Red Dead afterwards, though, didn't we? So they didn't drop to do that, which I'm glad they did.
Why it's generation and a half? Because it's still in the top 10 best-selling games every week. It's just like, what is...
It
Yeah.
baffles me, because how has everyone not got that game yet? Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand it. Really don't.
I guess it's like Beat Saber on...
Yeah.
bit of foreshadowing there for the news later on. Yeah. Anyway, 2025 is going to be a big year. I can feel it in my bones. So let's get into the big year for VR that's coming. Before we do, though, just that reminder that we do every week. If people want to give us support us, they can do so. Subscribe, leave us a comment, tell your family, your friends all about us. Follow us on Blue Sky at CrossButton VR and the other things as well. Snapchat, are we on there?
Snapchat's still a thing. No, we're definitely too old for Snapchat.
Snapchat.
None of us would
What's the
take the
ones?
time to manage that. Literally, we would all be like, no, I'm not installing
Yeah,
that.
is we've got a TikTok, so
That's too hardcore.
yeah. Well, you are the hardcore influencers, so TikTok, Facebook, that's still going, and Facebook now that's changed. You can set your like on Facebook now, so we can just call everyone a cunt now. So that's fine.
Didn't better do that before.
Well, it's just on the Facebook group, I hope. But now you can
I'm swear Alex
still eat
added
like-
me just to say it.
Zuckerberg has got no problem with us being as horrible as
well.
you want people, because that's definitely a nice way for the internet to go. Anyway, let's talk about VR and 2025, and it starts in January. It's going to be
Never.
don't hold it together. The first game we know about. So I'm just going to mainly cover off PSVR2. I will talk about some of the notable things coming to Quest that caught my eye as well, especially if they're going to be coming to PSVR2 later. But as this is a PSVR2 focused thing, there's so much stuff coming to Quest. I can't even. I don't even try and keep track of it all. There's just so much of it. I kind of wait for stuff to come out and then find out if it's good or not and see what the reception once it lands, rather than trying to track everything that's coming. But on PSVR2, that is a bit easier because there are much fewer games. And starting off on the 16th of January, which is a few days after this podcast drops, you will be able to play Arken Age. Now, we have all been playing Arken Age. Conveniently, the preview embargo went up this week, so we can talk about our first impressions of this game. And we shall do so right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we do, we should point out that Reece on the Games with Tea YouTube channel did an excellent video just on it. So if people want to see a dedicated video of that, they should check out, if they're not subscribed to Reece already, what they're doing. Is it just Games with Tea on YouTube?
Yeah, let's just type in Games with Tea and hope it comes up. But if not, put GWT in front of it. Because YouTube don't like me.
Well, you can get a good 10-minute there of footage and Reece's explanation of stuff. But let's carry that conversation on now. And I'm probably a couple of hours into it, about as far as you've got so far, I think, Reece.
Yeah.
And I'm having an absolute blast with it. I think it's great.
Yeah. I did play a little bit of this prior on PC. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say it. When you sent over your clip, I just want to put this thing out there first with the PS5 to PS5 Pro difference. When you sent us your clip, instantly, if I didn't know you had a PS5 Pro already, I would have instantly known that you were playing on a different system.
Really?
Yeah. There's more foliage, things like that, more shadow quality, definitely, just from that one clip you sent me. And I'm not saying it looks bad by any means on the PS5, like the base PS5, because it doesn't. It still looks really good. And there is the, the performance and quality mode. But if you do quality, it's reprojected. So I went straight for a performance mode.
That's what they recommend, isn't it, on that thing?
Yeah, but literally from your clip, it looks more closer to the PC version on like ultra high, as opposed to how the PS5 base version looks. And if more games start doing that, I'll be out the door and picking up PS5 Pro, because just looking at that, I was like, that looks more natural on the eye, like seeing the grass. And I'm not saying you don't see any of that on the base PS5. I could just instantly notice.
That's really interesting.
It's the first time I have instantly went, I can see a difference. So
that's
good on them.
It's really strange that Sony themselves aren't making more of this game, because they don't have much else coming out this month or anything else really coming out this month. And if this is a game is it a rare PSVR2 game that's been enhanced for PS5 Pro, and if you're saying that you can definitely see a difference in it, then they should be definitely shouting about that a bit louder.
Yeah, there's an instant difference.
I did think it looked very nice from just jumping in and playing it, and I immediately thought, this looks lovely. Like, I was really impressed by how good it looks and the level of details, like on some of the enemies and stuff, on the weapons, like, and all of that stuff. It looks very, very, very nice.
It's got that PSVR2, it passes the crispness test.
Yeah.
And there's some games you load it up and they're just a bit soft and a bit blurry. They don't look great. And then some games are razor pin sharp. And this is thankfully one of those games.
Yeah. I think I kind of said, like, the minute you kind of load in and you see the person sitting in front of you, like that huge person, without going into detail, I kind of turned around. After looking at that, I turned around. And again, I had already experienced this on PC, but taking it all in on the PSVR2, I was still kind of shocked at the field of view, just the level of detail from like looking in the distance as well. And that's one thing, like I said it with Behemoth as well, that always kind of makes me go, wow, that's awesome. Because when you look off in the distance in some VR games, it's just like, I don't know, 2 centimeters in front of you and then it's fog or it's a bit blurry. And I'm like, well, I'd see further than that. Like with a game like this, when you look and you see quite far ahead before it goes a little bit blurry, I'm almost like, okay, that's how I would see in real life. So is it my eyes that are going blurry, kind of thing? And it feels right. And this game has done that. Like, they've done a really good job with graphics. So, I think that's going from both perspectives as well. So if anyone out there does have a base PS5, you're still going to get a game that looks fantastic.
And go on, Alex.
I was going to say, I know you're saying they've done really well with graphics, but they've definitely done really well with more than that. There's so many nice touches to this, and I've played less than you guys. I've just not had as much time, but it's like some really nice things that I'd love to see in other games. Like, see the whole hold your hand over all this stuff to collect it rather than go and collect it.
Love that. Absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the best decision that I think anyone's ever made in a game like this. I'm like, of course, why can't you just do that and like hoover it up?
It reminds reminds me of Borderlands, the way you collect some items, like where you hold down square and it picks up everything in the vicinity. And I was like, this is, definitely more games need to do that.
When you play like normal flat games, you don't press a button and then pull back on the stick to pick something up. You just press a button over it and it goes into your inventory. And you do that because sometimes it's better to not be realistic, but just because you do the action so much, there's so much stuff to pick around. If every little single thing you were putting into your thing, and in other games I can think of, you do that. You're constantly just like, oh, for Christ's sake, you're constantly hoovering stuff up and try to throw it over your shoulder or whatever, and it just gets so boring. But yeah, this is great. The way you can do that. That's a great shout, Alex.
But I mean, you've got that. You've got the combat is really good. The swords feel really good. The guns feel decent. The climbing is great. Flicking up to get your ice picks, like that's just genius. Like just it's so well thought out, so well planned, so well structured. Like you can tell they've taken time to work out exactly how they want this game to work. You can tell they've listened to play testing to improve things. You can tell this is the game they wanted to ship, and it's not a game that they've rushed out. A lot of level of detail been paid, a lot of attention to detail been paid to this game, and I think it's really going to benefit from that, and I think people are really going to benefit from the experience for the attention to detail they've put into it.
Yeah, special shout out there to that climbing. You're absolutely right. It's so satisfying. And Reece, I think you mentioned on your video the haptics that associate each time you back into the wood, you get that little haptic. It is so, it feels so realistic and natural and just feels so good. You can do it so quickly. And it's kind of almost freakishly quickly, but because you're in this alien avatar thing, it kind of makes sense. I think if you're doing it in like a human body, you'd be like, wow, I'm some sort of superhuman here. But as you're this kind of long-limbed alien, it just makes total sense. So yeah, the way you flick your wrists to get your sort of picks out.
Yeah, climbing picks. That's what I've been calling them.
Yeah.
They're climbing picks, aren't they?
Yeah, climbing picks. I don't know why I call them hooks. Yeah, that's what I'm calling them. Leave me with it. I'm hooking to the wall.
We know what you mean. But it's so easy and natural to quickly to scurry along. And yeah, the controls are great. And I like they've got the hybrid, or you can have the toggle grip, which I had to turn on the menu because I hate it when they don't offer that. I was like, oh no, I don't have to squeeze this gun constantly, but you can toggle it, which is great. Yeah, there's lots of good quality of life features to it.
I just want to say, because obviously you mentioned that as well, the amount of settings to get this game to where you want it to be and how comfort you want it, like, is crazy. Like offsetting your hands to, angling them. Even when you were talking about the gripping, like it even shows you a grip sensor to show you how much grip you've actually got if you used to do the hybrid. If you rest your finger on it, it tells you like, if you would be considered holding the thing. The way they've done the settings is just, I think it's probably the most in-depth setting menu I have seen in a VR game in such a long time. Like they've catered for everything.
Yeah, but just to say, you don't need to tinker with it to get it right. Like the only thing I changed was the toggle grip thing, which is my thing. I always look for. Everything else I've just left it as the default, and it plays really nicely. And yeah, I don't feel like I need to change anything. I love the reloading as well. You can hold the button to eject the energy, which is kind of your ammo clip. Put it behind your shoulder. That's it. Reload over your shoulder. It's so good. And I love it. Because like when you're holding the shield and the gun, you need to sort of pull back on the gun to cock it, or you can just do the strafe thing and it kind of automatically does it for you. It feels so good. Again, because it does a really nice haptic whack when you do it. It feels great. I love it when you get your shield out and you get your sword out and you pull the trigger to extend them both, and you feel so cool.
Yeah. The mods for your weapons as well. I think that's such an awesome thing. Like it just makes the game feel fresh the more you play. And I think that's really cool.
I've instantly upgraded my little handgun pea shooter thing into something much, much more satisfying to use. I was like, oh yeah, this is better. And there's loads of, I didn't realise that all those boxes, you have to go, it's worth opening every one because there's stuff in them and you need quite a lot of money to buy a lot of the upgrades and stuff. So you have to be quite, and I don't know if that's going to get tedious, like having to open every box. There's so many of them. There's so many things.
I think it would be tedious if you single-handedly have to pick up each thing individually and put it on your back, but I think that's another reason why they did that kind of quick collection thing, which, like Alex said, is really good. I did think that as well. If you was just single-handedly picking up everything, it would be really frustrating. I'm enjoying the exploration and the climbing. The climbing is everything for me on this game. I just want a wall to climb. Just give me that and an hour and I'll have fun.
Yeah, so for people that don't know the structurally this game, I think I've read in the preview that it's 25 areas. I don't know. I think there's 25 different areas. Basically, you go into an area, there's enemies all around, and you need to try and get out of the area. And there's usually a key you need to find. And there'll be you have to sort of get past through all the enemies, but also there's usually something you have to do, like you have to climb up a tree to find a thing, you have to go into another separate sub room and sneak past some security cameras, or you have to swim underneath the water and there's a sort of hidden tunnel that takes you out. So there's different things that will find you the key or the thing you need to get out into the next room. And it's not always a key, there's other stuff as well. I've only done a few of the worlds so far, and we can't talk about anything more than the first few, so I won't. But yeah, so you're going through level by level, area by area, and the area is sort of full of enemies. You can either avoid them, sneak past them, or you can clear them. And there's constant, like everywhere, there's power-ups and currency and stuff you can pick up, and energy cells you can pick up and things. But I really like the way that the levels are designed, that you can kind of explore them, and there's some verticality to them. You can climb things, you can swim through tunnels, you can just run around and jump, and there's a lot of good movement involved. But yeah, I don't know how the whole rest of the game is structured, how it plays out. If it stays the same as that, I have no idea. But
we'll
it makes sense.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it more in the coming weeks, the more we play.
But yeah, so that's Arken Age.
Huge potential. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I just hope that. So I really had a blast with the first few hours. My only concern is, can this hold up a whole 10 hours of campaign? Does it get boring? So I'm super keen to hear kind of what other reviewers think of it, and what other creators I think when they get a chance to play the whole thing. And Reece, you'll probably be, out of all of us, you'll probably get to the end of it first. So yeah, keen to hear your thoughts on how the whole campaign holds up, and whether the game does enough to add new enemies and different biomes and different things to keep the gameplay feeling fresh over the whole campaign. But from what I've played so far, very, very promising.
I'd agree.
Yep.
So that's kind of the big game this month, really, for PSVR 2. There are some other games coming to PC VR and also to Quest. We've got Jolly Roger coming out, which has been kind of featured quite a lot of previews and stuff. Has been on a few showcases and stuff. And Reece, you've been playing it.
I have.
So this is coming out on January the 14th, and there's a PSVR 2 version to come in Q2 2025. So it is coming to PSVR 2, but it's just starting off on PC to start off with. No news on Quest yet. But you've been playing it on PC already?
Yes, starting playing it. I'd say a couple of weeks, but I think it's maybe around Christmas time. I've got mixed views on it, and I think some people have mirrored a lot of my views, namely maybe VR Realms review is a bit similar. Exploration in this game is really cool. Like, you do feel like a pirate that's like looking for treasure and things like that. But at the same point, my mind is like, didn't I just crash on this island? If I actually parked my ship, or did I crash here? And I was trying to question myself that, because I feel like if I crashed on an island, I wouldn't be looking for treasure. I'd be looking for like a way to survive and get off the island, as opposed to
why you're
just park
pirate.
up here. Yeah, so that was running through my head for like the first 10 minutes. And I was like, maybe I should stop overthinking this situation and just play the game. And then the parrot came out, which the parrot is this basically a indicator of where you need to go, and it directs you and things like that. Instantly, I wanted to shoot the parrot. Instantly.
Why is it so annoying?
It's just frustrating. Like, it'll go, "Rah," and then it'll start saying something to you, and it's like, okay, cool. And it'll be like, oh, follow me over here. And then it'll fly off, and you're like, where the fuck did you go? Like, you'd be looking around, and like, so I'm like, I can't see him anywhere. So I like walk up to a wall, and all of a sudden I just hear, "Rah," and he starts talking to me again. I'm like, where the hell are you? Like, and that was my first, I was like the first 20 minutes of playing. So I was like hunting down this parrot more so than doing anything else that the game was trying to tell me to do. So then I ended up walking up to a tree, and then like, it's quite situated. So like, you on certain situations, if you try and take one route, it'll be like, no, you can't take this route because there's like a leopard there, or there's a lion that'll walk down. Of
course there is. Yeah.
And then, but if you go the same route but walk upwards and then drop down from a different angle, the lion's not there now. It doesn't drop down. So it's kind of like, it throws these things to stop you in your path, so you have to find the other route. Which I'm assuming the parrot was meant to show me, but I don't know what I did to make this thing just fly away and just not tell me anything, because I was like, literally, I was like, where am I going? What am I doing? So then I ended up finding a wall. The climbing is very satisfying. I would say it feels a bit similar to like Call of the Mountain type of climbing, like where, you're going point to point and you're going up. You don't have, your picks or anything like that. I don't know if you get them later on in the game.
Your hooks.
Yeah, your hooks. All right, mate. All right. Let me continue, okay? Anyway, so yeah, I was climbing up this thing, and I did watch Gamer Tag's video, and he picks up on it quicker than me, but he said the same thing as me, because there's like a long tree with moss on it, and I was like, well, now I'm going to be able to climb that. So I kind of doubled back and dropped down, but he instantly climbed across it. My mindset was exactly what he said. Well, surely that would be slippery. You wouldn't be able to climb along the moss. You ain't going to be able to get a grip on that. Whereas if it's just a normal flat tree, I think I would have looked at it and went, okay, I can climb across that, or a vine or something. But as soon as I saw the moss, I was like, that's green. That's going to be slippery. I can't do that. Maybe I need to wait later to unlock something for my gloves to make me be able to climb on this stuff instead of just trying, because that's where my mind went. And then I must have did the same climbing sequence about 3 or 4 times until I went, okay, let's give it a crack. And then I tried. I was like, oh, okay, you can climb across it. And I eventually progressed through this first area, which has different kind of scenarios, puzzles, where you have to find, like, maybe a wooden stick to kind of move a boulder. Then you have to, go down a rope, do a little bit of swimming to find something else. And then you find the pickaxe and all that kind of stuff. But the main focus of the game is exploring the areas, finding the treasure. And then when you get a bit further on, there is a little bit of combat. And I haven't progressed to the point where I'm near completed it as much as everyone else. And a lot of them have said it's quite a short game, so I'm sure I'll finish it quite quickly. But when you come to some of the skeletons and you've got this torch that kind of shoots a power beam out, and I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like I kind of instantly from the get-go, I was hoping I had just had a sword to swing at the skeletons and things like that. Because I feel like for me, like even the ones that are in their cages, I just feel like I could go by and just, spat to those skeletons as opposed to trying to make me shoot at this light from the torch. But
it's a shame.
Those skeletons.
Yeah, it's always skeletons, isn't it? Always skeletons. But
it sounds a bit like as a game, it's a bit kind of almost kind of unfinished and then rushed just to get it out. Like when you say about there's just like random lines that appear, it's like oh god, we need to start a player walking down this road. We've realised they can get themselves lost. Let's just stick a line there to make them turn around. Or we can't add in proper combat. Let's just do something with torches and stuff.
I mean, I have seen that there is like flintlock pistol and things like that. So you do get things a bit later on in the game. But again, I don't know how long you use those for. And I have seen a lot of people say the combat is a bit sparse in a way. It's not the main focus of the game, which again, I'm not too bothered by because I was kind of enjoying the exploration and the swimming and things like that. What really threw me off though, and I have actually raised this. So again, this game has offsetting. So when you go into the menu, I don't know the best way to describe this, kind of like a visual aid, but people won't be able to see it if they're listening on audio. So imagine you're holding like a Quest controller upwards and your sword should be coming out of the top of the Quest controller. That's how, for me, a game should portray its sword. It shouldn't be angled down or anything like that. Whereas from the get-go, this game makes it so the sword kind of comes out of where your trigger would be, if that makes sense. So the blade is angled. And instantly I was like, no, don't like that. So I changed the angling so it makes it feel like it's coming out of the top of the controller. That was all fine. And I was happy with that moving forward. And then I got the torch. But because now I've angled my hand, it made the torch be angled upwards. And I was like, well, now that doesn't feel natural because I wouldn't be holding a torch like that. So I kind of went back and I said, the one thing I wish you would do is kind of make it so there is a set angle for each actual thing and then allow me to adjust them accordingly if I want to. Because you get one thing feeling right and then the next thing just feels incredibly wrong. And it really throws off that immersion because I wouldn't be holding the torch up like that with it just floating in the air. I'd kind of hold it downwards. And
I bet the developers are like, Christ, what's he want now?
I don't know.
Do what? Change the angle of it.
So a lot of PC, it's more so PC VR games than PSVR2 games. You usually have a lot of offsetting. And I think a lot of the reasons they do this is because of the various different controllers on PC that you can use. Some of them have different tracking, therefore the hands will be a little bit different. So you can offset the angle so it feels right. I don't know if that's the actual reason, but that's the only reason because I've had to offset sometimes when I've played certain games with the PSVR2 as opposed to the Quest on PC. So that's why a lot of games offer it. But on this one, it just feels like because you can't, it doesn't make everything feel right when you offset it. But I'm enjoying the exploration. I am going to go back into it. I'm going to try and finish it. And I am enjoying what I'm playing. It's just, I wish there was more things happening while I'm exploring to make me go, oh, that was cool, as opposed to me walking around going, where the fuck's that parrot gone again? Like that's literally, I'm doing that so much. Like I'm in a dark cave at the moment. I'm walking around like, where the fuck's the parrot? And I'm standing at a puzzle and I was like, can you give me some tips, please? Because like you're just sitting there looking at me and I feel like you're meant to be guiding me, but now there was no indication of how to complete this puzzle. I ended up randomly doing it. But
just there to mock you, this.
I think that's its purpose. But I'm enjoying what I'm playing. I just wish
it looks very nice.
Oh, it does. It looks really good. I will say it loaded up at first, and for some reason it put the default quality as medium on PC. and it looked like dog shit. Like at medium quality. If you can run a game, if you can't run a game in high, do not play this game on PC. Just simply because it did not look good. I whacked it straight up to Ultra, and it was absolutely delicious to look at. Whereas,
nice.
Delicious, succulent. But yeah, medium, nah. Because I loaded, I was like, this looked really good in the trailers. What's going on here? And I looked at the settings, I had to tweak them all. But no, I'm looking forward to playing more. But I think from the first couple of chapters I played, I wish there was more filler instead as opposed to me just walking around. I like the exploration side, but I want something to make me, wow me a little bit here and there.
Well, it's coming to PSVR2 in Q2, so I don't know, 3 months. 3 to 6 months from now. I mean, it sounds like there's promise there. If they can just spend that 3 months just polishing it, refining it, taking it on board. I'm sure they're watching other reviews and listening to what people are saying and stuff. And if it's a small team making it, they think, actually, we can go in and we can fix some of this before it releases on PSVR2. I mean, it sounds like there could be a decent game there. So it looks very impressive. If they can just, maybe sort out the parrot and think of that
I think people will like it. I do think some people will like it, but I also think if somebody looks at the trailer and went, oh, this looks like it's going to be a really epic adventure, and they kind of overhype themselves up, I think that's when they're not going to like it. But I think if you go in not expecting anything, I think you'll get some enjoyment from it. We'll see. See how it does.
Well, that's Jolly Roger. Good name anyway, if nothing else. Also coming out in January, we have Cold VR, which is coming to Quest and PC on January the 21st. We don't know when it's coming to PSVR2, but it's coming to PSVR2 at some point in 2025. So it makes it into our 2025 preview. So we'll find out. I guess we'll get some reviews on that in the next week or so as that comes to Quest. I'm guessing YouTube will be playing it. It looks great.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, this one looks... It's just got that good feel about it, that it's one of those games. It kind of falls into, obviously, that kind of super hot, stroke, pistol whip, stroke arcade shooter type game. And yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And I hope it hits PSVR2 sooner rather than later. I hope it's not too much of a gap between it hitting Quest and PSVR2.
I feel like the dev did say a certain frame on Twitter to someone, but I can't remember what he said, so that's why I don't want to say it. But it doesn't look like it's a long wait, but it's definitely one. Like, from the demo I played, this is definitely a game to look forward to. But I think the only part Alex is probably going to struggle with might be the back rooms on it. Other than that, I think he's going to be absolutely fine. He's going to love every minute. But the back rooms are a bit creepy.
I like a creepy back room.
I was going to say, Alex is no stranger to creepy things.
Yeah, that's true. He does a podcast of us every week.
Indeed. So that's all we know about so far in January. In February, there is not really much to talk about on PSVR2. There is Alien Rogue Incursion, is that what it's called? Coming to Quest on February the 13th. So I'm hoping that will do well and do good numbers on Quest there. I'm sure it will do because it's a good game from what I've played.
I'm interested to see how it performs on the Quest. Really am.
Yeah, I mean, how it performs is one thing, but is in terms of the technical performance or the sales performance?
Oh, technical performance. Like, I do not get involved in the sales performance. That's not my question.
Just for me, when they make these big games, which they clearly spend a bit of money on, it's not like Arken Age. Arken Age, 2 people made that game. Who fucking people made that game? Like, it's 3 of us making this podcast, and we're barely holding it together. Those 2 people.
I'm sorry.
Made a full game.
Did you hear that, Alex? Okay.
No, I love you guys.
I'm not arguing with that either, to be fair.
Alien Rogue Legacy, though, was probably made by more than 2 people, I imagine, probably quite a lot more. So I want them to sell lots of copies so that they carry on to show there is a market for these games, because otherwise publishers will just think, you know what, fuck it, let's just not make any sorts of games. Let's just make these much more kind of smaller. I mean, I love the smaller fun indie games, don't get me wrong, What the Bat, that sort of stuff, love it. But I also want it to be these kind of big budget Alien games, because a lot of people just won't pay any attention to VR if there aren't these sorts of things on there. So yeah, please, if you have a Quest, give it a go. But I don't really know anything else that's coming to PSVR2 apart from the Obsessive Shadow, which is coming to PSVR2 and PSVR1, strangely. Which is quite cool. That must be it must be an age since the game came out on PSVR1. I don't know.
The last game
Flipper came out, wasn't it?
Oh, Was that already out though prior? I don't think it released at the same time.
Just Dance did, I'm sure.
Just Dance and
I think House Flipper was out prior on PSVR 1 before coming to PSVR 2. But the game I do remember that dropped on PSVR 1, and I remember playing it, was Very Bad Dreams, or at the time it was called Bad Dreams. And I emailed them back and I went, "Why have you released this on the PSVR 1? Like, it just showed how dated this system was, and I couldn't progress through the game. Whereas when I played it on PSVR 2, I actually enjoyed it. Despite all the issues it had, I did find enjoyment within the game. But playing it on PSVR 1, it was fucking disastrous.
So you can dig out your PSVR 1 out of the loft and play the Obsessive Shadow on it. The Obsessive Shadow is coming in February. And I've seen a trailer for this game. It looks like a game that I am not going to play. Some sort of, in a dark, spooky house, you've got a little torchlight, and in the torchlight, there is some weird, shadowy thing that is just lurking about, doing its thing, probably trying to kill you, I imagine.
So, like Phasmophobia, then?
I like the sound of that.
No, it just looks proper, like, creepy, and I don't know if it's, you kind of just watch a trailer for it. That's enough. The trailer for me is enough to, like, okay, I can see enough about this game now. It's absolutely a Reece game. Like, Reece, you're going to be all over this. You're going to be, like, happy as a pig and shit playing this game. You'll love it. But me and Alex, no, we'll stay away.
Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer right now. It does look a bit creepy, doesn't it?
I mean, the face of the thing, the shadowy thing. No.
Yeah.
Is it multiplayer? Because the only way I could imagine playing this is if we got Laurie to play it in multiplayer, just so I can hear him scream like a little girl again, like he did for Phasmophobia.
Andres.
Andres place.
What was it when we it was Phasmophobia? The minute he joined the lobby and saw Alex's character, he screamed. And I do have the clip somewhere, and I do need to try and work them both together, but it was one of the funniest things ever because he really screamed. It's like, we're not even in the game yet, mate. This is just the lobby. Like, there's nothing happening here.
Well, if you do play on PSVR 1, I'm just looking at the listing now, you can use your aim controller, which, why not? Why not do that?
Well, that would make me want to play it more, just because the aim controller is better than the move controllers. At least it has analogs.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the Obsessive Shadow. Who knows if that's going to be good or not? But otherwise, there's not anything coming out in February. I'm sure there will be things, and I'm sure we'll come to this. A few games that are just coming, but we don't know when. I'm sure at least one of them will drop in February. In terms of things that we know about, we then skip ahead to March. We've got V Rider BK, which is that superbike game, which is coming out at some point in March, and we have Hitman World of Assassination, which is coming out on March the 27th. I mean, that is the big. That's the big one that they've kind of featured out on the blog. They've talked about it. Yeah, I
need to pick it up again.
Yeah, I've never played a Hitman game.
What?
I don't really. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe this will be time. It just seems like it's quite a big undertaking to pick that up. It seems like a lot of game to have to play in VR, right?
I mean, it's quite a big game, yeah. Definitely, it's definitely a biggie.
Well, it's 3 games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It says a lot.
It'll keep you busy. I'm really looking forward to it. I was always intrigued to play this back when it released on PSVR 1, but I refused to because you had to use the DualShock controller. I don't know if that ever changed. But, cannot wait. I'm just hoping it goes really well. I really am.
I think this one will. Let's be confident.
Touch wood. Yeah.
Yep.
I am optimistic. The trailer really looks good, so I'm going to be all over it. I just need to pick up the on disc because I think it's like £25 on disc, which is a lot cheaper than on the PSN store.
No, well, you people, your fancy discs. You wouldn't see me playing a disc these days.
What's this? I heard you chose not to buy a disc drive over the course of £10, was it, or something? It's because it cost £10 more.
Yeah, because fucking Curry jacked up the price. I'm not having that.
Yeah, I feel like you should have just purchased it at that point.
It's like $80 fucking in the US. Supposed to be £100 here, which is like outrageous enough. And then
it's £10, Laurie.
Fuck it, we'll put it for 110. Well, I didn't think I actually saw it available.
It's £10, Laurie.
I think Alex mentioned it in the chat, but I didn't have a chance to get to it. I probably would have done it if I'd have had if I'd have seen it in time.
I would have gave him the £10 if that was the main issue. That I would have been like, Laurie, just take the £10.
It's not about the money. It's the principle of it.
It's the principle of the matter.
The principle of fuckers.
How dare they?
But yeah, I'm still sans disc drive. But it's fine anyway. Embrace the digital future. Not like you Luddites with your disc.
I've still not put a disc in, right?
Send me your disk drive. Can you we'll just share the disk drive you've got? I'll just rent it off you and
send it down. That's fine.
It'd be easier to buy a PlayStation 5 Slim at this point with the disk drive, wouldn't it? And then just take the disk drive out of that and try and sell it off as a digital.
Yeah, I suppose that's the way to do it, I guess. Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
And yet 10 quid was an issue.
Yeah, that's a lot of faff. No, it will be less faff if Tony just makes some more of them and then I can just buy one from a shop. But they're the only games we know about with kind of release, not dates on months. But there's another number of other games that have got 2025 release dates. Probably the biggest two I would suggest are the Midnight Walk, which is coming in spring. So when's spring? When does spring end? Who knows? Probably before like June, I guess. Anytime up to June.
Kind of March, April, May, I would think.
Yeah, March, April, May. We've got the Midnight Walk, which looks fantastic. A very Tim Burton-esque type game, which is also going to be on flat. It's a hybrid game. So that's looking very good. That was in the last.
I'm going to say it here. I think that might be my most anticipated game coming to the PSVR2 at the moment. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, well, the next one. My one's the next one I'm going to mention. But that's certainly the fact that Sony are putting in a showcase usually sort of bodes well.
I enjoyed their last VR game. Alex, did you get around to play it? Something giant. What's it called? The giant one I got.
Ghost Giant.
That's it, Ghost Giant. I always go to say Big Giant. I like it that much. I forget the name of it. But that was one of the games I played back on the PSVR 1. Absolutely loved it. The story was fantastic. And yeah, ever since then, I've been wanting more. And to see that the team from that are now working on this, really excited.
But yeah, I mean, if anyone that hasn't seen this game, just go check out a trailer for it because it is the most fantastic art style. It's all like claymation. So it's like some sort of really twisted version of Wallace and Gromit. It's just it looks
the way of looking at it.
It's like Wallace. It's like Tim Burton does Wallace and Gromit and some sort of terrible nightmare. Yeah, it looks fantastic, and I really hope it's a game that people love on flat, and then people say, you know what, if you want to play this in VR, it's even better. Because I think that's like the way for VR to really grow, is just to take games that people say these are legitimately good games, and then they're better experienced in VR, just like GT7 does. That is a great game normally, but if you can play that in VR, it just elevates it, and I think that will bring a lot of people in because they want to play games that they know and love and that they've heard of, but a better version of them.
Yeah, indeed.
But my most anticipated, which also doesn't have a date, but we can presume is probably the first half of 2025, is Wanderer: Fragments of Fate.
Can we? I may assume it's the first half of 2025.
Well, just because it was due originally in August last year. Yeah. So if it doesn't hit the first half, that's like a year delay from the last release date, the first release date it got. So
I feel like you've been mentioning this game for like a whole year nearly.
Yeah, well, it's been featured, and they kind of need to just laugh about it now until it does come out.
It just needs to stop wandering, doesn't it?
Well, nice.
He done it. That was great.
But this looks. I mean, we don't have to say any more about it. It looks fantastic.
It does look really good.
It does.
Kind of like Quantum Leap.
Very much looking forward to this one. I think it will be worth the wait. Well, I very much hope it will be worth the wait.
We've then got Underdogs, which is coming in early 2025. And Reece, you have been playing Underdogs on other competitive format. What have you been playing on PC or Quest?
Quest. I feel like this is a game that I think it's going to be fantastic on PSVR2. But I also feel like with how much I was moving, I'd probably, without like a ceiling rig, I think I'd end up yanking that wire out of the headset with how mad I was going at this game.
High risk.
It's so fun. Like, it's just the amount of adrenaline you get from playing this game. It's such a good workout as well, because it's all physics-based combat. So like, the harder you punch, the harder the enemies actually take damage.
Crush.
And you have to, like, after each battle, you go through like a map and you can do different things, like go to the shop, talk to various characters, do certain objectives that will cause risk, and you do about 3 of these, and then you can go back and do another fight in the pit, and you get to choose patrons, and then by choosing that patron, they will give you better equipment that's catered to how you want to make your actual mech. So like, if you wanted to go for more of a damage build, you can choose that patron, or if you wanted to go for like more of a movement style, a bit quicker, all that kind of stuff, you can choose the other patrons and switch it up. But it gives you that choice, which I like. But I just played it for like, I was jumped in just to try it for 10 minutes, and I didn't come off for it for about an hour, and I think I came off absolutely sweating. It was fantastic. I annoyed at myself that I held out so long to play this game.
It's
And
a great art style, isn't it? It looks fantastic.
It's the art style, the voice acting, the music. Literally, it's got like a very Londoner. I don't know what they call it, but
don't say that. You'll put Alex.
London, London gangsters. I don't know, like
a bit like Lock, Stock, kind of.
In a sense,
Guy Ritchie-esque.
No, it's more of like oi bruv, that kind of stuff.
Right, bruv.
Okay, all that kind of stuff. We'll get no fam and all that kind of thing. But
it's just the game.
The music is like very grime heavy, and I mean I haven't listened to grime music in a long time. But like beating up robots while having grime music playing in the background while you got the crowd cheering as you're whacking a robot across the screen, like it's the most. I just can only describe it as a high pump adrenaline fueled game. Like literally every time you hear the crowd screaming, like I did that. You're like, are you entertained? You really get right into it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It does sound like fun.
It really.
It sounds like something that I want to like, but I probably won't. If that makes sense, like just because it sounds.
I think you will.
Look, well, it's just there's like a fighting roguelike. I love the aesthetic of it, and I love like mechs are cool, and the whole kind of the graphics and the sound and the look of it all looks great. But yeah, if it's a roguelike fighting game, I'm just like, is there a campaign that's going to be worth playing for?
There is kind of, but I feel the roguelike element is quite forgiving because basically you do one night in the pit, and then when you come out of the pit, you get to do those other things. And you are allowed to go back to your garage, you're allowed to repair your mech, and you're allowed to do all these different things to constantly upgrade your mech. And it kind of gives you a break in between fights. I think if it was all fighting non-stop, I think by the third fight, you'd be out of breath and on the floor. So I think the way they broke it up is actually really good. And I think it's a nice way to do a roguelite in VR as opposed to you going room to room, and never stopping. And the only time you're going to get a break is if you pause it. So I think the way they've done it is quite forgiving. I mean, I've only done like 4 levels. I don't know how far I'm going to get to the point where I'm like, okay, this is not forgiving anymore. Get me out.
Okay, well, I mean, Underdogs, it's got fantastic reviews on the Quest version of it. So hopefully it's a good port and it delivers on PSVR2. Because I mean, if those 3 games we just mentioned can come early in the year or like the first half of the year, along with Hitman and Arken Age, again, it's a pretty strong first half of the year there, and we don't know what's coming later in the year. Just rattle off a few more games, just to wrap up. Games that we know about that are coming: Aces of Thunder, seen various bits of that over the last year or so. So I think that should have come out this year. So no idea when that's coming out. 2025 though. Zombie Army VR. Ghost of Tabor and Frenzies I've got down as the kind of notable releases that are due out in 2025 for PSVR2. Frenzies as well, just given that it's End Dreams, should be very good. But yeah.
What would you say? I think it's going to be, it'll end up being like last year with a really packed first half of the year, and then the games will just keep coming because there's so many other games that are still, and smaller games that we're waiting, and we know they're going to come at some point, but then we know, and we'll get little things that we'd never expect to be good, and they will come out, and we'll love them. And yeah, so much to look forward to as always in the world of VR, which is the freshest space in gaming, in my opinion.
Well,
it's quite refreshing.
We haven't got it confirmed yet, but it's something that's as good as confirmed. The Astrobot port, rescue missions coming.
It's going to happen now.
That'll be their big full game, big awesome game, rescue mission. It's going to happen. Everyone loves it. Game of the year, fucking Astrobot, game of the year. They could be like, hey, you remember that game of the year game you all loved, where you could play the prequel or the other iteration that we made, the other game in the series. You can play that exclusively on PSVR2. They should put that on PC VR as well, because that's what Sony do now, and why not?
I feel like, I know like a lot of you said like Call the Mountain. Like I never saw that as a system seller, never. Whereas like I don't know, I feel like Astrobot for me, that if like even though I was going to buy the PSVR2, like I feel like Astrobot on the box would have made me be more excited than Call of the Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially now, it would be. And they're not going to make a new one from scratch because like why would they? They'll make a sequel to Astrobot if they're going to make a new Astrobot game. They'll just make it on PS5. So why not just port it across? It just seems so easy. It would be such a win. Easy win for them. Just the franchise has never been bigger than it is now, and this is probably it's never going to be bigger than it is. Like until the next one comes out, that's going to be years away now. So like, why not put it out? You can push headsets, you can push the franchise VIP more. Yeah,
it's never been more of a no-brainer.
Yeah,
but we should point out that other than with me making up that Astrobot's coming, which I am, don't get too excited. I am just making up. We have nothing from Sony confirmed as per kind of last year, I guess. There was sort of nothing really. Didn't really need it last year, but I think like Sony did quite a good job last year of bringing, like, as good as those games you mentioned are, they're not like kind of Alien or Metro in that people outside of VR aren't going to recognise them. Yeah. So, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the problem with VR, and I think we've raised this before, is that there's not enough big IPs to make people go. There's not enough head turners. The only ones you're going to actually notice are the games that you see on the store yourself because you're looking for them, or somebody's told you about them in the VR space.
Yeah. Well, so we shall see. Maybe we'll do a preview. We'll do a predictions episode for Year 3 in a few weeks' time, and we can each predict what Sony will or won't do if they'll actually get around to making another game for it.
Well,
maybe.
Kind of brings you on to your next thing, doesn't it, Laura?
Well, yeah. Okay, so that's the wrap up then of the games that are coming that we know about. I'm sure there'll be many more, but right now that's what we know about, and it's fairly decent. I have a lot to look forward to there. So just we'll see what else we find out about in the year. But let's move on to the news. And the first thing I just want to pick up, it's not really news so much for VR, but I just wanted to talk about it really, is this thing we saw, was it CES trade show? They've got The Last of Us as an example of their live immersive experiences they're doing. This is like a whole new concept Sony are doing where it's it's like, I can't really know how to describe it really. You can kind of, you're kind of in a immersive, like, I don't know, you're
light
like
guns.
It's like this kind of light gun, arcadey, hologram thing with special effects like smoke and smells and like, and the first thing they're making it with is a Last of Us type immersive experience. So it's kind of like I don't know, it feels like it's VR, but not in VR. You're kind of, if that makes sense, you're kind of in these experiences, or kind of sort of thing you'd get at Alton Towers. Where you play like, you get like Saw Maze and Alton Towers. It's kind of like that, I guess. And so, if there was somewhere you could go and queue up and just go and do a sort of 10-minute Last of Us immersive experience, I mean, I'd give it a go. I'd queue up for that. And it's the sort of thing that I guess they could tour around with it, and they could like, it's coming to London, and people will go, and you'd probably spend like an hour or so queuing to get into it, and there'd be a bar there and stuff. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. But it did make me think, like, how are they doing this and there still isn't a VR version? Like, if they can see this franchise, there's so much love for this franchise, and they got Series 2 of trailers for the TV adaptation, HBO adaptation coming out. That's looking great. Like, how is there not a VR spin-off? Even if Sony don't want to make it, there's so many good horror VR games, and they could just approach those developers and be like, what? Do you want to make Propagation Hotel, Paradise Hotel, but just make it Last of Us for us? Like, because that IP is so powerful for them now. Again, if they wanted to just push VR and just expand The Last of Us into other medium, which is clearly what they love doing, and this made me think of it more than anything, the fact they're doing this like weird life immersive experience thing. It would be so good in VR. And if you're talking about system sellers, Reece, that's right there.
100%. And it's quite funny because I looked at the comments, because I think it's Phil that put it in the Discord first, and I went into the YouTube video to take a watch of it, and I noticed Phil had already commented saying, or saying like along the lines of, or you could put it in VR like that, and he just, I think at the point of like, it's like 10 minutes of input in the comment, there was so many likes on that comment already, and then there was loads of people going, did you forget about VR? And so many people were asking about VR for it, and I was like, I'm glad it's not only us that thought this exact same thing. Like, even people that are not playing VR probably went, didn't you just release a thing that's immersive? But I do agree with you in the sense, Laurie, that yes, if you went to something like this with a group of friends for a night out, it'd be a lot of fun. And let's be honest, and it's almost like it's a bit like the the VR spaces in a sense, but without the VR headset, that type of thing. So you're a bit more in the moment with your mates. I think that's quite nice. And I think if they did something like that as like a these around the world, like you said, I think that'd be really cool, and I think I'd attend one.
Yeah, because I'm not sure where they'd permanently establish it. I mean,
Sony theme park rides coming soon.
Yeah, well, they don't have a sort of theme park presence, do they? And so I could see it touring around, or you could have it permanently in places like London or somewhere in America. If you, yeah,
Maybe it'll be at EGX next year.
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice. So yeah, I don't. Was there any date on that? It's just in a bit concepty right now, doesn't it? I don't think there's any date in mind.
Feels like a concept. Probably won't
Oh,
hear
well.
any more of it.
Well, something that is not a concept is another update for Tim Fridays. Whoop, whoop. And this is now the 80s mixtape. And as we predicted, there was a side A. As kind of suggested, there was going to be a side B. And here we are. So it has come to pass. We now have side B of the 80s mixtape. And this has added tracks by Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, which I want it just for that. It would be so good. So Africa. I fucking love that song. Oh, that would be so much fun playing that in Tim Fridays. Such a perfect everything, like the whole kind of, yeah. You've got Never Gonna Give You Up, Rick Astley. Someone makes some videos of, like, was it called like rolling someone?
Oh, I'm going to be all over that song.
You've got Out of Touch by Daryl Hall and John Oates. You've got Just Like Heaven by The Cure. Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. And Wham's Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
That's the best one.
It
probably gets you going.
I know what I'm doing after this. I'm literally coming off this.
Yeah. So you guys have been playing this on Quest, right?
I haven't played it yet.
And it's got has it got the new stages? Because I know there was one.
No,
for
I think
the
it's the
first
same
side.
stage. It's the same cafe stage as for the first, but it's just new songs, and they're very, very good, very well mapped. I would say, and yeah, this is. If you like Synth Riders, you like the first lot. This is better than the first lot of the 80s. Definitely is.
Nice.
It probably will be, because the first lot of the 80s, the first time we experienced that pack, it was just me and you singing out loud. So I don't think we really got to experience the songs other than just two dudes literally screaming to the top of their lungs the music they enjoyed. So that was fun.
Yep. So that DLC is $11. Don't know what it is in pound sterling, but that's out on Quest, PSVR2, PC, Pico as well. Pico, wow. There's also an Apple Vision Pro, and if you have Apple Arcade, you get this update for free. If any of our audience has an Apple Vision Pro, please do let us know, and you can come on the show and be a guest one week and tell us all about your headset. I'd love to talk to someone that actually owns one. But
I know one person that has an Apple Vision Pro, and that's the CEO of the Windlands game.
Oh,
yeah, he's the only person I know that has an Apple Vision Pro.
Well, let's get him on the show. Not talk about Windlands.
Just email him that one thing.
Sorry, mate. I don't want to hear about your game. Just tell me about that. So you bought.
We'll ask you what's coming next in the studio, but first, just for 20 minutes, just talk us through the Apple Vision Pro.
What you think about playing Synth Riders on Apple Arcade?
I'm going to message him after this.
What?
I'm going to try and get him on.
Apple Arcade, though, legitimately, it's brilliant. Anyway, any parents out here, like, get Apple Arcade for your kids, because there's so many good games, and it's like mobile games with no adverts or like play to win or pay to play mechanics. There's just so much good stuff on there. So yeah, Apple Arcade is a fantastic gateway for younger gamers, and lots of good stuff on there for older gamers as well, like Balatro. I digress. Balatro. I still never played that. I daren't.
Balatro.
Probably for the best, yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah. No time. Madison VR, that game that I refused to play, is now out on Quest. So if you like getting scared, fill your boots. If you've been waiting for that to come to Quest, now's your chance.
I will give you my thoughts.
You're gonna play
next
again?
Week.
Are you gonna play again?
On how it performs on the Quest.
Are you gonna play the whole thing? If only Quest had achievements, sister, eh?
Alex dropped it through and went, "Here you go." I was like, okay. And then I think it's so long as I said, yeah, I'm going to run it into the wall because now I haven't got a wire tethering me. Like, I fell over when I played this game before. I'm not looking forward to how it's going to make me go on the Quest. I'm just curious to see how it runs, I think. That's my main curiosity for this. I think I'm going to play through the first section.
You can be curious to see how fast I run away from it.
That's essentially what I said to you.
Yeah, you pretty much did, yeah. There's certain games you two will not touch, and as good as I am with horror games, Madison is a special breed of horror game, I tell ya.
Cool. Well, you can let us know how that works next week. Final bit of news, we just talk about the top-selling December PSVR2 downloads, and it's quite an interesting one this week. Beat Saber is right up there, which suggests that lots of people got their headsets and then had family over at Christmas and thought, oh, quick, let's download Beat Saber. We want to try out the VR. I suspect that's what's happened there. And then Alien Rogue Incursion as well was the top seller in the EU with Beat Saber as number 2. In the US and Canada, it was Beat Saber number 1 with Alien Rogue Incursion number 2. So, yeah, good month for Alien Rogue Incursion, which is not surprising.
Good to see.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see that plenty of people have bought that game there. Let's hope it can remain in the charts for a while. Also in the top 10, we've got Behemoth still up there with number 3 in the US and 4 in the EU. Call of the Mountain, that's still doing well. Although only in the EU, they don't like that game in the US for some reason.
Now, does that count as a sale when somebody redeems the code? That's my question. Because a lot of people bought it on the sale. Do you think it counts as a
counts? I'm sure.
Yeah, because I think it did with God of War, didn't it? Back in the day when it redeemed, a lot of people made a big joke about it.
I think they're the download charts. They're not the purchase charts. So it's just who's downloaded it. So yeah.
Well, since
why
it's back in the
US
shop,
though? Why aren't they getting it in the US? They're not bundling it in there? I don't know.
It was bundled in the US, but unless it's sold out pretty much instantly, and maybe they had less stock over there than here, not too sure. That's a whole different ballpark there, isn't it? But it's also an indicator of, because I think last time I checked, the PSVR2 with Call of the Mountain did sell out in the UK at some places.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is great to see.
Yep, that's the bundle I bought. Remember, Alex, before the headset came out, we pre-ordered the that bundle. So, oh no, we'll get the physical edition of Horizon. Foolish we were.
I know.
We both changed before because it was like the week beforehand. It was like, it's just not going to get a physical edition, is it? Let's just swap the pre-order.
And then
cheaper to get it bundled.
And then you all had to do exactly what I did and sat down waiting to see if it's going to arrive or not, because the tracking didn't work for that bundled edition, which was a panic.
Yeah.
You had to go through like some sort of thing on the website, didn't you? And go into the coding of the website and change it, and then you get the tracking up for it.
Something like that, yeah.
That was a lot of fuss. That was a lot of fuss about nothing, wasn't it?
I was sitting at work panicking. I was like, messaging Mrs. Can you tell me if it's arrived yet?
Yeah, I mean, I was properly excited to get that hardware. Like normally when stuff arrives, I'm always a bit like, oh, just if it comes today, it comes tomorrow, whatever. But because this was like such a new box of tricks for me, I was so excited to get into it. Oh, but we were so naive, didn't we, Alex? We didn't know what we were doing. Much like
we absolutely didn't. I mean, we still are. Yeah,
a lot to learn still. Not like Reece. He's a wiser older brother that shows us the way.
Yeah,
guides us. Give me too much credit.
Cool. Well, I think that about wraps things up there. I think that's about an hour. Has anyone else got anything else that they want to play or talk about or do or say or share or confess to?
Nothing from me.
No, nothing.
No. Well, people can join us next week. But until then, thanks for listening. If you have enjoyed this episode, please tell your family and friends all about us. And if you'd like to get more involved, please do not hesitate to jump into our Discord and say hello. I have been your host, Laurie. These two have been Alex and Reece, and we will see you again next time. Until then, though, it's goodbye.
Bye.
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 Cheerio.